The Active Neurons series has 3 different entries, and this one, the Active Neurons 3 World of Wonders, is the final entry in the series, and I reviewed the first one a few years ago on this channel and found it to be not too bad. This third one is more of the same, and if you've not played any of the series before, these are block sliding puzzles. So the idea is that you need to get a block from where it starts into its end goal, but whenever you press it in a direction, up, down, left or right, it will continue moving in that direction until it hits something or triggers something that will make it stop. Sometimes that will be moving through portals, or hitting certain switches, or matching symbols and turning lights on so that things are connected up. It could be that actually you wander it into a hazard and the block explodes and you need to go again. Because the idea is that as you're collecting all of these different pots of energy to bring them to your end goal along your way, you're charging your brain's neurons, so to speak, so that you've got things firing on all cylinders. Controls are really simple, up, down, left or right. You don't really have to do anything else with the game. And I really like the minimalist aesthetic and design around this too, because each block that has its own unique mechanic will either have its unique colour or pattern on it that becomes really representative of what you're trying to do with that. So obviously red blocks, avoid them at all costs. Anything with a spike on, avoid at all costs. Whereas certain patterns get kind of matched up together. There's about 20 different mechanics that get introduced across the course of the game. And what I think is different about this third one compared to number 1 and 2 is that levels here take place across multiple screens. And so it's not just about thinking around the logic of how to get from A to B, collecting the energy points as you go. But sometimes you're moving through multiple screens and you only get to see part of that level at one time. So it starts to engage your memory and observational skills and spatial awareness and coordination, because it might see you sending a block through multiple screens and it can't stop. And you might need to have already set up in place some walls for it to hit and bounce off of, and maybe some conveyor belts for it to move along to hit all of its end goals in the right order so that you can complete a level. And that's really where the upper difficulty of Active Neurons Wonders of the World comes to fruition. It's a well-rounded puzzler. It's not going to challenge the big puzzle fiends that are out there on Steam, but for a lightweight casual game, particularly on consoles, you don't get too many of these ported over because they're traditionally more PC and mobile based, and so it's probably got more weight there for people that are looking for those end of the day, come home and have a quick brain scratcher for 5 minutes, clear a few levels and then move on again. The Wonders of the World theming seems very, very random. The music is also quite generic in its electronica, weird kind of, I feel like we should be dancing at 3 a.m, but it's not really appropriate vibe. But the graphics and the gameplay and the puzzle design all fit quite nicely to make this a relatively well-rounded experience. Not quite a top tier recommendation from me. This is probably the best of the 3 in the series because it offers the widest range of puzzles that will keep your brain scratching from beginning to end.